Hello and welcome to Church Chat. I'm Father Dolan. This is the great Monsignor Chiodo.
I'm Monsignor Chiodo, but I don't know about the great. Thank you, though. Welcome to Church Chat, and we are at the chapel today, once again, having our church chat in the chapel, so we can call this Chapel Chat. And we were talking last time about the history of the city of Des Moines, and the name Des Moines, the city of the monks, which has a rich tradition of a monastic presence here under the Passionists, the Jesuits, and then the Society of St. John and the Benedictines. The idea of a monastic community is to provide intense prayer and presence in a particular area. It's not simply being present in a particular area as a religious community, it's also the power of prayer, being focused upon a particular city or diocese by a religious community. So
someone might ask, what is it like to be a monk?
The focus of the monastic life, for example, is in the Benedictine tradition, work and labor, or rather work and prayer, ora et labora. So they're two a balance between work and labor. Both are very important to the monastic community, according to Saint Benedict. So work hard, but also punctuate your day with prayer, and do everything you do with a spirit of fidelity to Christ, and see that everything you do is a prayer. But that's not simply just being all about work. Mm-hmm. The monk has a very serious attitude toward contemplative prayer, meditation, quiet, solitude with the Lord, and also the prayer, communal prayer, the divine office. The tradition of the divine office in monastic communities and the importance of prayer has spawned in many communities of monastic life, adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. The tradition of adoration goes centuries back to Saint Julienne, I believe it was her name. She founded the Feast of Corpus Christi. Is that correct? Am I right on it? Saint Julienne. Anyway, the tradition goes way back.
I know St. Thomas Aquinas was involved with it.
Was involved with it, but St. Julienne promoted, I think that was it.
Okay.
So the importance of adoration of the Blessed Sacrament has been part of the tradition of our church, even though for many years it was not as articulated as it became at the time of St. Thomas Aquinas, when he wrote the great hymn Pange Lingua in honor of the Blessed Sacrament. The tradition of adoration, as you see that sometimes, where in a monastic community the monks or the sisters will spend time on a 24-hour basis in prayer before the Blessed Sacrament, exposed on the altar. I remember Clyde Convent down in Missouri. When I was down there, they had 24 hours a day adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, where there was always a nun or two present there in prayer before the Lord, interceding for the church and for the world. And that tradition of adoration of the Blessed Sacrament has also been seen in parishes where people will have 40 hours devotion, for example. And that was a great tradition for many years, where parishes would have what looked like a parish mission for 40 hours, where the adoration of the Blessed Sacrament would be paramount, where people would sign up and spend an hour of prayer before the Blessed Sacrament. And there would be a priest or two who come in and preach on the Eucharist and hear confessions and so forth. And many of the priests of a particular area, region, or deanery would come and be part of that. The parishes throughout the world have also, many of them, taken on adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, even if it was for an hour a week. Mm-hmm. There was a tradition for many years in many parishes to have a holy hour on Sunday afternoon, the rosary and benediction. That was very common, and when I was a child, they had that here. Mm-hmm. It wasn't an hour, but it was some time of adoration of the Blessed Sacrament with the rosary and benediction of the Blessed Sacrament. It was very important part of the spiritual life of a parish. And some parishes have, over the years, developed a more extensive routine of adoration of the Holy Eucharist by having people sign up for a period, an hour a week. And some parishes have 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, where different people will sign up for an hour of prayer. And here at St. Anthony's, we have 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, from 9 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. And people will be in the chapel here or in the church adoring the Blessed Sacrament. And the Blessed Sacrament would usually be put in a monstrance, and this is called a monstrance, and this is the receptacle for the Blessed Sacrament. The white host, the consecrated host, the body of Christ is placed in here, and it's closed, and then it's put on the altar, and people will spend time meditating and adoring the Lord's presence in the Eucharist here, Blessed Sacrament. Of course, this monstrance comes from the Latin word to demonstrate. The word demonstrate comes from the Latin word monstrare. So you see the rays coming from the Christ present in the Blessed Sacrament. Of course, this is symbolic, but it's a symbol that Christ's radiant love comes and emerges from the host, penetrates the hearts of the person praying. And it's a very beautiful monstrance. It's a very old monstrance. I believe that's from the 1800s. That was a gift to the parish many years ago. And so we're very proud of that. So right now, adoration is going on in the church during this pandemic, so that there be social distancing between people and not so close as this chapel is so very close. So you'll see throughout the world, particularly in the United States, you'll see many dioceses promoting adoration. Mm-hmm. And here in Des Moines, we have adoration here. Christ the King has it, I think, almost 7 days a week. Almost, yeah. St. Augustine's has it 24/7. St. Pius has it, I think, part-time during the week.
Yeah, I think they're trying to work towards 24/7.
Yes, and Indianola has it now. Does he have 24/7?
Yeah, I don't know if it's all 7 days of the week.
But he has it. He's working on it. Mm-hmm. So that's 5 parishes right off the bat that have Eucharistic adoration to some extent or another. And you'll see, if you talk to people who spend time with the Lord in adoration, they will tell you how greatly blessed they are in just spending that quiet. There's no chatter, no talk, and there's prayer at the end of the day before the Blessed Sacrament is reposed in the tabernacle. But most of the time is just spent in quiet time. And we live at such a frantic pace today, and there's so much noise and congestion and confusion and chaos sometimes. To slow down enough and spend an hour of prayer can richly bless you. And even if it's not an hour.
To listen.
And to listen.
The Jewish tradition is Shema Israel, hear, listen, Israel.
It's very important. The first word of the rule of St. Benedict is the word for listen in Latin, ascolta. And so there's so much of our faith that's not only talking, but it's also listening. We need to first, in a certain sense, we need first to listen before we talk. Someone once said the Lord gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth, because we would listen twice as much as we talk. But most of the time we talk more than we listen.
That's right.
But the adoration provides time. Oftentimes people have a spiritual book, a life of the saints, the life of a saint, read the scripture, of course, say the rosary, just quietly talk. Some people will write journaling. Spend time to be richly blessed, because no matter what you give in terms of time, the Lord will double and triple it in terms of the blessings that he gives us in return.
I know for myself, my most intense and personal times in prayer have been in the presence of the Blessed Sacrament, especially in adoration. And that's awesome and fearful at the same time, but there's a lot of grace that comes with that.
I remember in my own life learning the importance of the Blessed Sacrament by way of an experience I had when I was in 3rd grade. The weather had turned bad during grade school here at St. Anthony's, and the nun had let us out of school early because of tornado warnings. And I left, but I was riding a second bus, so I had to wait 20 minutes before the bus arrived. So being outside with the winds blowing and the tornado sirens blaring, myself and another young man by the name of Eddie Wadley became concerned, and so rather than stay outside and wait for the second bus, we ran for shelter and came into the church. And I remember so very well that April day when we came into the darkened church, and the only thing that we could see was the red light, the sanctuary light near the tabernacle, which points the way to Christ's presence here in the Blessed Sacrament. And I remember the great calm and the peace that I felt being in the church, knowing that there could be nothing that could happen that could damage or harm or hurt us, because Christ was present with us, and we were present with Christ in the Blessed Sacrament. And then we went back to school, and the sisters asked us where we'd been, and we said in the church. And one of the sisters said something that I've taken with me throughout these years. She said, no better place can you be during a storm than in the presence of Christ in the Blessed Sacrament. And so throughout my life and the many storms that I've experienced, I've come to know the power of Christ's presence in the Blessed Sacrament. Just spending time with him, oftentimes not saying anything, just being there, and then listening to his words of consolation and strength. St. John Vianney, the great patron saint of parish priests, tells a story of a man who came into church every day, and St. John Vianney saw him every day in the church in the presence of the Blessed Sacrament. St. John Vianney said to the man, say, good sir, what is it that you do every day? He said, I come here, the man said, and spend time in the church. What do you do? And the man simply said, I look at Jesus and he looks at me. And that's a simple answer to a profound truth, that in the Blessed Sacrament, oftentimes it's simply Christ looking at us with love and our looking at him. I encourage you to avail yourselves of the Eucharistic adoration, even if it means coming to the church and spending time with Christ in the tabernacle. If your church is locked, ask the priest to open it up for you. Go to the parish office and ask the secretary to open it up for an hour, and leave the church open for you and your friends to spend some quiet time before the Lord. At least once a week, I encourage that. Try it. It will change your life for the better.
We talk about heroes these days in the pandemics, and we try to describe that to our teachers and our healthcare workers for adapting to the situations that have been at hand. But for me, I think some of our deepest heroes and our most humble of heroes are the ones who come and faithfully pray before the Blessed Sacrament, especially in the scheduled adoration times that we have, even if it's 3 a.m. And I have lay friends of mine who, are married and raising families and whatnot, and they are still faithful to those early times in setting that time aside for prayer.
Yes. Okay, well, we thank you for joining us for this church chat and the chapel, and I wish you God's blessings. In the words of Bishop Sheen, bye now, and God love you.
God bless you all.